Hi, I'm Aaron Carter, Managing Editor of American Rifleman, and this week we're in Bend, Oregon. We're here at Nosler. Now, Nosler started out in 1948 as the Nosler Partition Company, making custom bullets. Well, now the company's branched off into producing custom ammunition as well as rifles. And the latter's the reason we're here. We're going to watch a trophy-grade rifle being built from the ground up. This was the rifle in 2011 that was given the Golden Bullseye Award for Rifle of the Year from American Rifleman magazine. So let's go inside and see the rifle production.
One of the biggest reasons, like everything here made at the Nosler factory, is quality first, the company motto. So that also reflects into the rifles we build here. Some of the finest materials as far as steels, stocks, triggers, everything going into it is quality. It's all hand assembled by our rifle technicians here on site. There's a very detailed traveler and quality checks that go out through the production process of each rifle. Each and every one of them is shot for accuracy before it goes out the door. So when you get a finished product, it has already been tested and made sure it's field ready for use right out of the box.
I'm here with Zach Waterman, Public Relations Manager at Nosler. Now, can you explain to our viewers what we're going to be doing today?
Absolutely. We are going to be here building a trophy grade rifle from the ground up. So you can see before us, we've got the Nosler Model 48 Action, the chromoly match grade barrel, our synthetic stock, bolts, and other assorted ingredients into the rifle, such as firing pins and trigger mechanisms. But we're actually going to go behind me to Doug over here and start putting one of these together.
The way we've approached building rifles is the rifles we build are not unlike what someone could have a competent gunsmith build for them at home. So a lot of it comes down to the barrel, and that's why we're proud to say that we use high-end hand-lapped match-grade barrels on our rifles that we get from, suppliers that are well-known in the industry.
Now, Doug, can you explain the initial steps in the production of the TGR?
Yeah, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this ready for head spacing.
Okay.
And so we've got a tool here that we clean that bolt face up with, do a visual inspection on it to make sure that it's ground nice and flat. From there, we will hand lap the lugs, and what we're doing is we're trying to get those lugs to marry on the inside of the action so that there's a contact on both sides of the lug.
Okay.
And we'll just say that we did it for the right amount of time. And what we'll do is clean the back of these lugs off and visually look at it so that you can see the wear on the back side of each lug. And once you see the appropriate amount of wear, you know that it's been...
It should be even on both sides.
Relatively, as long as you know you have good contact on both sides. It doesn't have to be exactly even all the way through the bolt.
Okay.
But as long as you've got good contact and you know it's got good contact all the way through it.
Okay.
From there, we'll clean off all the surfaces, and then we'll actually put a barrel on it. And it doesn't get tightened down, it's just kind of hand tightened.
Okay.
And from here, we'll send this and several other actions, barrels and bolts over to the machine shop at one time, and what they'll do is they'll take off the shoulder of this barrel ever so slightly to get it to where once we tighten the barrel on, it's hopefully going to have the right head spacing, and if it's not, then we can do some adjustments over here by grinding that bolt face a little bit more. To get it to head space just right. And once we get it back from the machine shop, we'll actually torque the barrel on, and if all goes well, that barrel's going to stay on from that point on through the process and not have to be taken off again.
The knowledge of how to build rifles has been around collectively in this company for a long time. In 2005 was when we launched the ammunition line, and with that we said, you know what, we should do some rifles. So we sat down, our engineers started drawing up an action. They thought about actions that we've used in our ballistics lab for testing, things they liked, things they didn't like, things that worked well together, and they kind of molded them all together into one action that they felt would be not only really accurate, but very reliable, durable, strong. And that's what our Model 48 action is. Our bullets and the other products we offer are top quality, and that's what we're about. And so we wanted to do the same thing with our rifles.
So our barrel's been tightened on. The next thing we're going to do, we've already checked our head spacing. We need to proof the action, and what we're doing is we're putting a high pressure round in it, and we're actually firing at one time. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to check head spacing. We'll clean out the barrel channel. check head spacing, which we do several times throughout the process of building the rifle. So our go gauge is working properly. No-go gauge working properly. Tolerances are right. And from there, we will put a stamp on it that shows that it's been proofed. And that is proof stamped, barrel line action. So after it's been proof stamped, we're ready to start the bedding process.
Obviously, it takes more than the duration of this show to build a complete rifle. In fact, the bedding process takes more than 24 hours to dry. So here you see one that was already completed. All of the epoxy is dried and actually are ready to do the final assembly process with the final coated metal parts. Doug, you want to go ahead and begin with assembly?
Sure. All these parts that we see here coated, before they were coated, we've done some metal finishing on to get them to make sure that they all work properly and the rifle functions properly. We'll put it together after the bedding process, build the rifle. It'll actually go down to our ballistics labs, which you'll see later, to be shot for accuracy so that the customer can pull it out of the box and it's essentially ready to go.
Okay.
So what we've got here is all of our coated parts ready to be put together. And so I'll go ahead and do that. We've got our firing pin components. We always want to make sure that our ejector is pushing down below the bolt face surface,
okay,
so that it head spaces properly. If that's sticking out a little bit, then it's not going to head space properly. Okay. So that bolt is built and ready to go. At this point, we'll check head spacing.
Okay.
The final time after it's been coated. That's our go gauge. And that's our no-go gauge. So final head spacing worked properly, and we're ready to put some components in the stock. So here we have the rifle all assembled, functioning properly, and so essentially we have a built rifle ready for a manager's signature.
Now let's take it to the range and see what this thing can do.
All right.
There's a lot of good rifles out there, and you know, I wouldn't put any one of them down because they're all well-made, good rifles that you could buy. Once again, I would come back to the fact that a custom or semi-custom rifle manufacturer doesn't have the testing background that we have. We blow guns up just to see how they do, to see how much they'll stand. All a part of our engineering effort, all a part of our testing effort. It's an important point. Those tens of thousands of rounds that we fire on our actions, that's a solid commitment to our customer.
We just finished building this TGR here. So we're at the range to confirm its accuracy. Now Nosler guarantees that its TGRs will shoot 3-shot groups at 100 yards that measure 1 minute of angle or less. So we're going to see what this rifle is capable of. Now looking at the screen, it looks like my group for 3 shots was 0.46 inch. That's pretty impressive. And it's definitely more than is needed to accomplish any hunting task in the world.